What's going on, everybody? As you guys know, the Solstice pre-sale is just around the corner. Since some of you guys know that I'm pretty deep into the ecosystem, thought I'd make a quick video to share how I'm playing it and also my thoughts on the pre-sale and why I'm so bullish on Solstice. So let's get to it. The Solstice pre-sale is happening on Legion on Monday. We know some information about it. We don't know everything just yet. What we do know is that it will launch, or it will have a sale at the valuation of 130 mil FDV. You can pay with USDC, and you should be able to pay also with USX. And that the vesting terms is 50% at TGE and 50% over 3 months. I like that it says daily. I'm assuming they're going to use some kind of platform where you can just claim your SLX tokens every day if you want, as they kind of drip out. So you don't have to wait for like a whole month to get kind of a batch amount of tokens. I think this is how they're going to do all of their rewards, because they just launched on Tonzo AI as well. If you're a Telegram creator, you're probably not watching this. But they also have the 50% TGE, 50% 3-month linear on here as well. So I would only assume that the ZEET rewards, the 1% of the SLX, will also be 50-50. And therefore, the Flares campaign will probably be 50-50. So that's kind of what I'm assuming. Everybody's going to get 50% TGE and 50% dripping over 3 months, which makes me think that the first 3 months of Solstice, it's going to kind of be a market-making battle between the unlocked tokens and buying them up. But then after the 3 months, that kind of gets rid of the sell pressure, and there's a potential boom. So if TGE was to be in February, then we have March, April, May, June-ish is kind of when SLX has the leg room and the free road to kind of just boom, which could actually align very well with the market. I'm not as bullish on Q1, Q2, but after that, it could be pretty good. But that's just my thoughts. Don't have to dive too much into that. We can get back to Solstice specifically. So why am I so bullish on Solstice? And I think it's a few reasons. I think Solstice taps into a lot of current narratives. The first is the stablecoin narrative, and that's throughout all crypto. With new bills and regulations passing, a lot of people can just launch their own stablecoins, which brings a lot of liquidity into crypto. I think Coinbase also just announced that you can launch your own stablecoin through them. It's happening everywhere. Banks want to do it. Funds want to do it. Stablecoin season is coming. So it fits into that narrative. The delta neutral yield narrative is popping up more and more. These guys have been doing it for a long time on the institutional side, and now it's opened to everybody. People like the delta neutral narrative because you can always earn a yield in any market. And as you guys know, crypto is very volatile. So you kind of want to have a sustainable yield that's different from treasury bills. Now, Solstice is getting into treasury bills. They just mentioned their partnership with Ondo. So they're going to kind of be mixing it up. But from how I see it, they go treasury bills when the delta neutral yields are not as favorable, like on a flat market like we are right now. And then when the craziness happens, delta neutral prints. So then they can kind of flip back and forth between those, getting you a consistent yield on your EUSX. So the delta neutral narrative, they've got that covered for sure. Now the bonus narrative that they have is also the Solana DeFi narrative. And for this, I almost feel Solstice is in the position that if they do well, they can bring DeFi onto Solana, and it will no longer be considered a meme coin chain. So they're in a position to be the narrative leaders of DeFi. And why I say Solstice is positioned for this, because one, yes, they have a stable coin. Yes, it's yield bearing, and very similar to Athena. But also they've reactivated so many DeFi platforms. Exponent really got some spotlight from them. Orca, Radium, all of them got so much more attention and energy and new users because of Solstice. So like that is a big indicator for me. That's kind of those like Chad moves vibes kind of feel of like lighting up Solana DeFi. So if they're successful in this, if they get support from like the Solana Foundation and all the institutions that they kind of have in the back door, that could be huge. So that's the mix. There's the Solana DeFi and there's also institutional DeFi. And something like stablecoins is more welcoming for institutions. One thing that actually is just coming to mind right now too, it's really big. Let me see if I can find it real quick. If I go to the Solstice docs, let's see, Solstice docs. Maybe it's this one. Another thing, if you have any fintech app and it has crypto in it, so you're talking about Revolut, you're talking about Wealthsimple, you're talking about Robinhood. A lot of them have staking crypto as a yield. They do not have a lot of stablecoin yields because then they'll slowly realize, wait, this is kind of like a bank account. So Solstice also has staking and has been doing staking, I think over $1 billion in like assets under their staking. This also pours into the SLX token. So it's not just the stablecoin narrative, but it's also the staking narrative, which is not going to go anywhere as long as there's any proof of stake blockchains out there. There will always be opportunities for staking and staking yield for institutions. So there is the opportunity for any institutions that they are connected with right now to also then start giving stablecoin yield and stablecoin strategies with their USX. So you got institutional narrative, you got Solana DeFi narrative, you got Delta neutral narrative, you got stablecoin narrative in general. I think they're pretty well positioned. They've grown pretty good as well. Where are my tabs? You know, we are stagnating around 326 mil. They did start at around 160 just 2.5 months ago. So the climb is pretty quick if you're talking about TVLs, if you're looking at other protocols in this current market right now. So I'm pretty bullish. So how am I positioning myself? I'm saving it for the end of the video, I guess. I'm big on flares. After doing some calculations like this whole time, it's a little riskier because we don't know how much inflation is going to be. We don't know the terms of the airdrop for flare holders. But from my math, not financial advice, if you're getting into flares, you're essentially buying SLX between 50 and 100 mil FDV, which for me is cheaper than the Legion sale at 130 mil FDV. In my mind, mentally, I've always had the idea that the FDV should be around half of the TVL. And right now at 320 mil, that would be around 160 mil FDV. Is this a blowout win at 130 mil FDV? I don't think so. But pre-sales allow for kind of safer, bigger capital to be deployed. It's a little hard to deploy 50K into YTs on Exponent, but it's not hard to do it in a Legion presale. So I don't know how much they're going to raise. They haven't mentioned how much they're going to raise at this valuation. My guess is between 5 and 10 million because that's typically what the high-end Legion sales do. As you can see, Sport.Fund raised 3 million, and that's kind of one of the higher ones. I think the highest I've seen is 10. So I think they're going to go 5 to 10. I don't see them giving it more than that. We don't know. We've already seen that there's a lot of interest. Now, this was interest not doing the FDV. I know a lot of people are hoping for 50 to 100 mil FDV. 130 might scare some people off. But even if we're looking at 10% of this, and this is kind of outdated now, I think a 10 mil fill would be very easy because not everybody has also filled this form. And when it kind of goes open, we will see. So, bit of a ramble. I think I covered everything. The last little point I want to add is also they have a Chad team. I've actually known Ryan for quite a few years now from other things. If this thing cooks, if SLX cooks like I think it will, I owe this man a beer because seeing him work for the team was one of the reasons where I'm like, okay, wait, I gotta get a deeper look into this because if you've ever interacted with Ryan before, if you ever worked alongside under him or through any of the other things he's done, this guy, like whether you're part of Wolves DAO or you're just hanging out in CT, he's a very friendly guy. He cooks, man. He just cooks. So I'm like, yo, whatever he's working on, I want to support. And it happens to be another cook. So happy about that. Of course, along with Ben and all the other team members, I don't know personally, they look like they're doing a good job. They look like they know what they're doing. They look like they're passionate about it. So overall, we come here to make some bets. We come here to see if we can get some juicy returns. And I just think Solstice is one of those projects that come every once in a while that is, for me, it's very easy to bet big, whether it does good or not, because it's almost like, hey, this was the best possible shot in these current markets. The only thing better than this I can see right now is holding capital and just sidelining, which I don't want to do right now. So there we go. There's my 10-minute rant. If you have any comments, questions, or want to dispute things, I'm all ears. Drop them in the comments. Thanks for listening to this whole thing. Peace.